Okay, so is everybody tired of the big stuff? Yes? Good. Because I want to do a small arrowhead this time around. And I got myself new gloves. I preempted the gloves. There's some coming in the mail, but I couldn't stand it any longer. That last Salutrian thing tore up my gloves. So I tossed those out, and now we got new ones. I might not even need them, actually. I forget it's a small point. Okay. So how do I work on small points? It's been so long, I think I forgot. And this isn't even a small piece. This is Flint Ridge, and I believe it's heat treated. I got other pieces. I got a choice. Yeah, I'll work on this one. Anyway, you get to hear me yap in this one. You get to hear me yap in this video. In case you missed it, you know, you missed the yapping. I was watching my silent video. There's a lot of options with you know, if you want to watch the silent videos, you can put on your favorite tunes. You can put on some nature sounds or one of those continuous rainstorm videos right next to the napping video. You can have two screens open. Possibilities are endless. Right? That's the way you like them? Or you like them because I'm not talking? Yeah, I was looking at responses again. I shouldn't be doing this, but I was looking at comment sections of other types of videos and stuff. I got some new grinding abraders. Anyway, I was looking at comment section of some other people. Not on YouTube though, on Instagram. YouTube's crowd is pretty calm, you know. You don't see too many crazies. Anyway, what was I doing? Oh yeah. When people post silly comments and you try to correct them, the first thing they say is, "Your reasoning is not right." Yeah, it's so funny. The reasoning that they have is logical, and the first thing that comes out of their mouth when you try to correct them is, "Your reasoning isn't right." Yeah. So funny. It's not my reasoning. It's called, you know, identifying a fallacy. Let's play a little game. Let's see who's using a fallacy. It almost seems like if you're not using a fallacy, you can't communicate with people online. Yeah. Unless you're using the wrong reasoning. People look at you like, "What are you talking about, man? How the heck is this not correct reasoning, huh? If I'm saying it is right, because I've been online, I know how to talk to people." Yeah. They know how to talk to people so well that they don't allow you to respond to them. Nope. Like on Instagram, there's a way to block your mentions. What that means is they can't see your reply. You're not able to reply directly to them to call them out. But they can reply to you if you don't have that feature, you know, turned on for yourself. And boy, oh boy, they come after you if you don't have that feature on. I mean, if you have that ability for them to talk to you, oh, they come after you. But you try to do that to them, nope. They got that feature turned off, so you can't reply directly back. That's what makes them right. Because you can't say nothing. One of the ways to argue online is to make sure people cannot talk back to you. Yeah, that makes you correct. Now this Flint Ridge had an issue with it, right? So it's gonna have to get super thin. That's a bummer, huh? It's gonna have to get super thin for me to take that out. I gotta make sure I get under that crack. Between those two materials, there's a weird thing going on there. I'll just take it slow. That way I can talk a lot of smack about different things. And I can vent. As one of my subscribers or something told me, it's free, right? You're watching this for free, so I can vent all I want. If you were paying for a lesson, I couldn't just randomly say stuff. I would have to be all serious. Yep. Now some of you are subscribed to YouTube, so you are paying for a subscription, but like me, I'm paying for a subscription to YouTube. But when I watch a video, I don't look at it like I'm paying the YouTuber, even though I got a subscription to YouTube itself. Now there's an option now you can actually subscribe to YouTubers individually, and they get that bonus money. It's a bonus kind of thing. In addition to their AdSense, you can subscribe to them and they get extra money. Now I looked to see if I could set that up, and I think I'm eligible, but I need to get onto a regular computer because I can't find it. I can't find that feature on my phone when I go to YouTube Studio. Set up subscriptions or members or stuff, whatever it's called, memberships. Yeah. And my content's pretty generic anyway. I don't know what I would do for my subscribers or my people that are paying for subscription or whatever. I don't know what to do for exclusive content. It'd be the same old, same old. Yeah. And I couldn't do as much yapping. No. I don't think. Unless I specifically say that's all I'm doing. I'm doing majority just yapping. How's that? Yeah. I don't think I'd have many takers for that one. Ooh, that dug right in. I need gloves. All right, gloves. Where'd you go? I'm going to use my old one. This is softer and it's a lot easier to handle the small stones. So I'll wait until the other ones are broken in. Now this grit is a little bit too fine. I gotta get it. That's all I had. Let's see, what is it? 60-80 grit. Yeah, I need a little bit better. I mean, a little bit grittier. This was too fine. Come on. There it goes. It's stuck to my glove. See, I have a little bit of the 60-80 grit here, but I want some of this other stuff, whatever. I guess that's 40 grit. I like the 40 grit, but this is getting thin. But I can still use this for certain applications, like when I want to get inside a notch or something. Now I got a thin piece, so I'm going to save it. I got some things coming up that I can use that thin abrader for. Yeah. Yep. This is pretty good. I mean, Flint Ridge is pretty good, but when it starts getting thin, it becomes very, very stressful to knap because you never know. Highly unpredictable. You can think you're going on real. You think you'll be proceeding along nicely, and all of a sudden you hit a hard spot, or a natural crack, or some other defect in the Flint Ridge. And there it goes. No matter how much strategizing you do, if the material is all messed up in one little spot, it could be perfect everywhere, and then this one little spot is all messed up. It'll mess up your whole plan. Yeah. So I still have not figured out what happened to my phone. It's not able to store long videos anymore. It goes like an hour and a half and then shuts itself off. And I looked, and I've got a bunch of system files that I don't know what's up. My system memory is full, or almost. It's like 89% full. It's got over 100 gigs of system memory sitting there, clogging everything up, and it doesn't allow me to save long videos anymore. Or it doesn't even. I can do an hour and a half, right? But I can only do one of those. I used to be able to save up to 12 hours of video. Now it's down to an hour and a half, and it happened in like the last month. So something I did in the last month clogged up all my system memory. Right? That's what I'm thinking. Just because I'm thinking it doesn't mean that's it, though, because I'm not a high-tech type of guy. If I got to do it, I'll look into it, but if I don't have to do it, forget it. It looks like I'm going to have to. Or just take the phone down to the phone place. Say, what's up, man? What's up? This brand new phone I got. I could live with it until now. You know, it's got a camera that has a mind of its own, and my applications are not any faster than my other phone. But now I got system memory clogging it up. I never had that problem before. What's up? Upgrade's supposed to be an upgrade, not a downgrade. Yeah, supposed to be. I remember the days when the upgrade was actually an upgrade and not a downgrade. Nowadays, what are you going to do? Can't do much. Don't got much choice. They make you sign a plan that's long term, so you can get discounts. Supposedly get discounts. Anyway. Yeah. Anyway, I gotta thin this down. I had to stop there for a second because I'm saying to myself, this is starting to get dicey. Yep. There's a crack. It's still there. I don't know how deep it goes. It doesn't go all the way through. That's why I'm continuing with this. If it was all the way through, I would say, I don't know, I'll switch to another piece. And it's right in the center too. That's a bad spot. I could be hitting down below or above near the tip. At any time, it could just snap right along that crack and break your mama's back. That's what that means. Yeah, it's a Flintknapping expression. Flake on a crack, break your mama's back. Right? No? It's not how it goes. Yeah, gotta be careful. Yep, I gotta go thin with it. I really shouldn't be taking too much off this side because that's the good side. But if I don't regularize it, it gets all wonky and then it's not good for the video. What can I talk about that's new? New stuff. Talk about new stuff. Stuff I never talked about before. I gotta try to finish up my Flintknapping, my Flintknapping list. Nap-in list. Still working on it. I just saw another one that I hadn't heard about. I should just probably post it even though I don't have all the information, and maybe somebody can, or some of you guys can fill me in on the information. Like I don't have contacts. People's contacts for the nap-ins. On a lot of these nap-ins, I don't have anyone that's a contact. I just have the name of the nap-in, the location, and the date. I don't have the contact number that you can call and get an update, because you know sometimes these things are canceled, and you won't know until you show up and you go, "What's up? I thought there's gonna be one," and they either moved it or don't have it. That happens, you know. They either move the venue or they don't have the nap-in. They cancel the nap-in due to weather or personal issues. So yeah, I'll probably just post what I got soon and then make corrections later. I've been getting a lot of requests. Who you getting your rocks from, dude? I almost hesitate to say, because I've done that before, where I tell everyone who I'm buying the rocks from, and they get all bought up. None left. Yeah, that used to happen. It doesn't happen too much anymore. The guys that are selling rocks these days, they get bombarded with orders right away. So you'll know if they're going to survive. Or they'll know if they're going to survive in the first month or so, because they just get totally bombarded with requests. And they'll know right away if they got enough material to sustain that level of demand. But I'll put together a sources list. Yeah. Now, at one point on my channel, I was trying to include all that stuff, sources and other information within the description of each video, plus links to videos that cover certain topics that I've made, right? But I don't know if they changed the amount you can stick in the description box or what, but I always overflowed my description box like right away when I tried that, because I had like a bunch of stuff to put in there. People ask questions. I had the basic question and answer. I had sources. I had other stuff. Links to other people's videos and blah blah blah. Yeah, too much information. Doesn't fit. They might have changed it again or something. Maybe you can fit a lot more now. I don't know, but well, I'm gonna see. I would like to just stick, cut and paste into each description box of every video, so I don't have to make special videos just for information. I'd like to be able to post all the information on every video. That way, all those new people can get informed right away. They don't have to watch a bunch of my videos. Wouldn't that be nice? Nice for you, not for me. I don't get no benefit by making you guys the complete list that you can just reference on each video. That way, you're not going to be watching many videos because I get all the information on one video. Yeah. What happened there? The tip popped off and I wasn't even working near the tip. What is wrong with this situation? Yeah. I don't know what happened there. I didn't flake toward that area or nothing. It just popped off. Yeah. And some guys are wondering, why don't you like Flint Ridge? Why don't you? That's the reason. It's not that I don't like it. It's the anxiety stone. Yeah. I thought the tip was going really good. I thought I had it in the bag. Alright. I think I can take the glove off now. Hope it wasn't the glove that put pressure on the tip. You never know. You don't know for sure. That's why it takes thousands of hits, thousands of strikes, thousands of flakes to get used to this stuff. Get used to this hobby. Or this profession. Some guys out there that do it, they've been doing it as a profession for a long time. And sometimes they'll send me an email. And I think they're new guys, right? Once in a while this will happen. Some very experienced napper will send me an email asking me a question or something, right? And I'll be talking to him like he's a new guy that come to find out he knows like 10 times more about stone than I do. I'm going, what the heck, to myself? Why are you asking me questions about stones and stuff? Your knowledge is like 10 times better than mine. Yeah, it turns out that they got to ask that way because they know that sometimes people lie. Yeah. So they can't give out what they know right off the top of their heads, or right off the bat in the middle of the conversation. You gotta see what you know first. That kind of thing, I think. I don't know. I don't know what goes on. I'm a little slow on the uptake. Like I'm kind of new to figuring out how to make money with this stuff, although I have done a little bit of it, a little bit of making money in the past. When I first started, people were wanting me to make all kinds of stuff. So once in a while, I'd sell some stuff, and I talked to other guys who sold some stuff, and yeah, everyone's pretty much in agreement. Yeah. So I just kind of blew it off as a, just nothing really special, just make and sell. No, there's more to it than that. Yeah. Much more to it, apparently. There's museum work. There's work for people who are like adjacent to Flintknapping, like the muzzleloaders or reenactors. They're adjacent to Flintknapping. The rock hounds and gem people. So there's a lot of stuff going on as far as stones and working with stones. I didn't realize it was that extensive. I figured, Flintknapping is just one of those things that primitive archers or survivalists and bushcrafters are interested in. And that's it. But nope. There's other markets like jewelry, stuff like that. Anyway, to play it safe, you just keep it thick, right? But I'm not going to play it safe. I don't play it safe on this channel unless I'm dealing with something that I'm actually going to sell for a lot of money. Yeah, these are Arrowheads. I don't mind that they don't sell for a lot of money because these are the ones I enjoy doing. So I get something out of these. These are enjoyable for me. Yeah, I do. This is one of the few times where I enjoy the journey. I enjoy it with the smaller ones. Most of the time. Well, maybe not most of the time. When it goes well. When the tips break off, that's my little pet peeve. I don't like that at all. I hate it when the tips break off. This one wasn't bad because it's still pretty good length. Yeah, it's not quite 2 inches. It's a little hunting triangle right now. I can stop and sharpen it up and it would be a hunting triangle. No, this is not grains. 0.2 ounces. I don't know how much in grains that is. But yeah, it's probably about 60 grains. Between 40 and 60 grains. Maybe 40. Flint Ridge is kind of light as far as stones go. There's not that much difference in weight in the different types of stones, just in case you don't know. But you can kind of tell a difference after you've worked with stone for a while. Flint and Ridge is on the light side of stone. Now, one of the links I'm going to put up eventually is where to find people who do the parallel flaking. Where to find the parallel flaking videos. Because for years I've said I'm going to do it and I haven't done it. So you don't have to wait. I'm going to start posting people that I know that do parallel flaking. But you've probably already seen those. Alright? That's why you're asking me, because you want to see someone do parallel flaking and yip yap at the same time? Yeah. I guess. Or maybe because I'm zoomed in all the time. It's just a very slow, painstaking process to do the parallel flaking. That's all it is. I just have to go much slower, much more carefully, much more persnickety, and a lot of times it doesn't work. So there will be partially a parallel flaking pattern, just like on the real ones. They're not perfect on the real ones. So yeah, to get parallel flaking, you just gotta go slower. Everything looks the same. I mean, this is all the same. The same tools, same view, same stone, same yip yap. Everything's the same, except you see different results because I'm going slower. You don't see it on this one, but you know, if I were to do it, every single flake has to be prepared individually, or you would prepare the whole edge with one continuous area for pressure, the pressure area or the striking area, and slowly each one has to be calculated and very well placed, and you have to have consistent stone. You have to? Yeah, if you don't have consistent stone, you're going to get step, you're going to get wide flake, narrow flake, step, wide flake, narrow flake, step. You get the idea. If you want all narrow flakes, you can't expect to get them on inconsistent stone, because your muscle memory has to repeat the exact same thing every time. That's probably why you're not getting parallel flaking, although you've been trying for years. The reason why you're not getting parallel flaking is because the stone is not consistent. Yeah. If you're able to do it and you're not doing it, it's because of stone. Yeah. You want some insight into how to do it? How do you give insight when it requires practice, doing it over and over and over again? How do you give insight into that? Do I show you how to do it over and over and over again? Well, you got to watch years and years and years of my videos to get that insight. That's what I'm doing. I'm doing this over and over and over again before I can actually do this parallel flaking. There's got to be a shortcut, you might say. How can I speed up the process? You will learn quickly there's no shortcuts in Flintknapping. No shortcuts. The only shortcut is natural ability. Some people pick this up extremely fast, and they can do it. They can adjust, they can adapt, they know what to do. They can see, they can monkey see, monkey do, they can listen, everything. They absorb everything and get to some stone, no matter how cruddy it is. They can nap it within weeks instead of years. I've seen it happen. How do they do it? You ask them, who'd you learn from? How do you do it? I'm self-taught, dude. I just watch videos. That's it. Really? Yeah. How come you don't make videos? And they're like, I don't need to make videos. I already know how to do this stuff. Why do I need to make videos? There are other people making videos. I don't need to teach nobody. That's what they're thinking, I assume. So there you go. That's the only shortcut that I know of. If you're struggling, if you can't do it, and you think you're missing something that's obvious, it's got to be something totally obvious. It's the practice. It is something totally obvious. It's the practice. You're missing it. It's right under your nose and you're missing it. That's it. Now, how fast did I pick this up when I first started? It took me 3 years before I could make stuff that I wanted. And I wanted thin points that have flake scars like the originals. Yeah, big, bold flakes, random patterns, and thin. When I first started, everyone was doing thick pieces with very regular flakes and mostly pressure. I tried that. I was going to give up till I developed my technique on doing the indirect percussion the way I do it. And then everything started to look better. And I was able to nap quicker than a lot of other guys were napping. Yeah, because of the precise indirect percussion. And the way that I do it is low tech. I just hold it behind my knee. That's mine. That's my technique. No one showed me. There's hardly anybody doing indirect percussion stuff anyway. Back in 2009, 2010 when I was teaching myself. And I found out that other people, if they didn't have too much experience already, they could pick up on the indirect percussion pretty fast. But the guys that already had a lot of experience with boppers and pressure flakers, they didn't like the indirect stuff. They go, nah, it's okay. Maybe I'll use it if I really, really need it, but it's odd. It looks not. It doesn't look good. So stick with what I got. So they stuck with what they got. It took a long time before it caught on. Now I see a lot of new guys with indirect percussion tools, which is cool. It's cool because they can ask, people can ask them questions instead of asking only me. Yeah. Go back that guy. He's actually doing better than I am. He's got more natural ability. Go ask that guy. Well, I did get a step fracture after all. I was thinking it's going to be a clean sweep with none of that steppiness, but oh well. Can I try to clean it off? Yeah, but I run the risk of installing a curve and all that. Let's just do it anyway, right? It's only 41 minutes. Only. You're used to these being a long video format anyway. Yeah. Right? You guys are used to these long videos. I don't need to try to speed it up. Let's see if I can thin this down without installing more step fractures. Let's see. It's getting dicey. Why don't I use pressure for this? Because pressure doesn't allow me to do these large, broad flakes, relatively speaking, in relation to the point itself. Like I don't seem to be able to do these large flakes like that with a pressure flaker, and I like those large flakes, relatively speaking. You know, they're not large compared to the stuff I get on this stuff. Right, this is a whole different ball game. See that right there? I was working on the other day. This is these two are whole different ball games. Look at that. Yeah. I'm not talking about large flakes on the big points. I'm talking about large flakes relative to this size. Yeah. I can't do it with pressure. I can do a larger flake on a big biface with pressure. If I do the pressure flake on here, it'd be pretty big. I can get a pretty big one. But if I tried that pressure flake on this, it'd snap it in half. Easy. No matter what shape of pad I have or what technique I use. If I put it, the kind of pressure I put on this to make a long flake on this, forget it. Just snap. Easy. So it's a different lighter touch with these little ones. It's scaled down, yeah. It's just a matter of scale, but I'm trying to get used to the difference. I'm used to it over the years now. I've had a lot of experience with both types now. So I can kind of shift. But it's not that easy. A new guy wants to do everything all at once. He wants to say, well, I'm going to make a big point. I want to make this. I want to make that. And if it gets whittled down, I can make one of these. Yeah. Because my thought experiment is perfect. Yep. Thought experiments. They are the secret to the universe. Yeah, it doesn't work that way. You won't be able to make either one. I've said it many times. And some of you guys, you know that I repeat myself a lot. But that's why. Because people still ask me. Questions like, what is the difference? If they actually are thinking far enough ahead, they'll ask me, what's the difference between the napping something like this and napping something big? And it's hard to explain. You just got to experience it. You just have to experience it to know what I'm talking about when I say it's a delicate touch when it comes to these small ones. Because it's a delicate touch on the big ones too in some cases. You know, you don't want to break tips off the big ones. There's some areas on the big points that are dicey, touch and go. You need to have a delicate touch for those too. But no, it's a whole different ballgame. Anyway, let's see. Let's get this thing notched. I do want to thin it down a little bit right here. Hold on. Yeah, I wasn't able to shoot a flake from the other side to get that step fracture out. Although I tried. I can't get too ambitious with that sort of thing. These things will overshoot too. It'll overshoot a lot on these little ones. Oh yes. Especially with high quality raw stone. You'll get a lot of overshots and stuff because it'll spoil you. You think this stone is strong. And it is when it's raw, high quality raw. You'll hit too hard and you'll overshoot it, especially near the tips and stuff. Yeah. Is it easier to avoid step fractures with the little ones than it is with the big ones? That's a good question. I don't know. It seems like if you get into a zone where you're creating nothing but step fractures, these things, you won't be able to do the damage control. Everything just goes south and everything is step fracturing. It's because something's going on. You're either getting too thin for your ability. The edges cannot be prepared properly because of the thinness of the edges. No matter what you do, how much you grind, the edges are still too thin to run the flakes you need. You get into a situation where you can't unscrew up yourself. Yeah. I'm still trying to get that out. That one little step fracture right there. That reminded me. Some guys, you guys don't get itchy. I found out when there's a step fracture there. You get more itchy if I don't say something. If I'm doing a silent video, that's when you get itchy. That'd be funny. That's funny. Oh, I couldn't get it. I tried to look at that sneaky little flake. Let me see if I can point to it. All right. This will get you. I was trying right there to send in a flake that would go this way and that way. Fan out to take away this side of that step fracture. But the little booger stopped itself right there from going down this way. And it just went that way. It's a little booger. Let's see if I can do this. Yay. That one worked. Maybe it did go a little bit. Yay. Got it. All that time and I could have probably just picked it out, huh? Yeah, probably. Dum-dum. I'm just a dum-dum. All right, so let's see what I can do about putting notches in this. Is this gonna work? That's not long enough, is it? Come on. Yeah, it's not long enough. This one here, I can use that one, but it's really wide. So what that means is I gotta take it down some. Not wide in this respect, but wide, you know, thick. It's really thick. Now, for those of you who don't know, on some of my videos I've used flakes. I can use a flake to notch. It doesn't go very deep, but you can use a flake to notch the stone. A stone flake can notch a stone. Yep. In case you didn't know, I do have some videos like that where I use a piece of stone to notch the flake, notch the arrowhead. I'm not going to do it on this one. I just mentioned that while I'm doing this. Yeah, and forget about getting narrow entry notches with another piece of stone. You know, you can flake. Don't use the same stone. Use a harder stone, like a raw piece of stone, and start notching. You're not going to get narrow entry with a piece of stone because it smashes its way through as you're push flaking. But you will get a notch. All right. Where is my flaker? It fell. Okay. So this is, I guess, yeah, guess what it's going to be. It's a difficult one. Yeah, I don't know. What is it? What's it going to be? It's a hard one. Just crunching it in. Low tech notching. Oops. That's really low tech notching. Dang it. That's supposed to blow away the sides. Nope. That's a newbie mistake. Okay. I already hit a thick spot. Dang it. Means I gotta put excessive pressure on it. Excessive. It doesn't like excessive. It likes genteel. Genteel pressure. And passive. It likes the passive pressure. These are true arrow points. They're not knives or little dart points. They're supposed to be delicate. This is probably a little bit large for a Cahokia too. They're not very big at all. I got my tablet so I can browse the internet while I'm doing my videos. I still haven't. I've only used my tablet in my video like once or twice. Because what I can do is I can actually bring up an arrowhead actual size on my tablet and then use that as a pattern for the reproduction. Yep. And I can tell you right now, this is big compared to most of the Cahokia points. Yep. They're tiny. One thing I can say about Flint Ridge is that it can be notched easily. Yeah. That's one thing I can give high marks on the Flint Ridge is on the notching. It is cooperative when you heat treat it for notching. Just gotta watch that you don't put too much pressure. It's tempting. The thinner your workpiece is, the better. You don't want to have to thin along the way. You know what I mean? You can thin along the way, but it's best to not. You know what I mean? You can drive in flakes to thin, but then you're putting a lot of pressure and you can snap it across the neck or snap it somewhere where you don't want to snap it. Yep. Alright, so I just clean this up. It's funny, but a lot of these arrowheads, you look at the real ones, they're not even sharp. You handle them up close, a real one, a lot of times they're not even sharp. They might have little serrations on them and fancy stuff like that, but you touch the edge, not even sharp. Now I don't know if that's because of the weathering effects in the ground, or they're just making some of these for looks only, and they'll contour the edges however, whatever works. They're not worried about sharpening it. For whatever reason, a lot of these true arrow points are not sharp, and it bugged me for a long time. Now, don't get me wrong, there are some that are really sharp. But yeah, just, you know, if you get a hold of one, a real one, just check out the edge. I'm not talking about Cahokia necessarily, just any small arrow point. Just check it out and see, and report back. Who's got the sharp arrowheads? That's what we want to find out. Who is making the sharp arrowheads? And you know, what types are they? What types are they? Me personally, I have not held a real Cahokia arrowhead, but I have held a bunch of Texas ones. Some of the best material in the world in Texas, right? And some of the arrowheads are kind of crude. The true arrow points, kind of crude, not very sharp. There's a lot of them that are very sharp, but you get my meaning, hopefully. I was surprised that not all of them are razor thin or razor sharp. All right. They just look nice. In many cases, they just look nice. So I kind of wonder what they were going after. Just the look of it, or what? Or it could be just jewelry. Some of these, they're not sharp because they're worn as pendants. Could be. But I'm gonna make sure there's no dull spots on this one. I was grinding the edges quite a bit. I can see dull spots. One thing that the real arrowheads do have is thin edges. At least the ones that I've seen. They do try to produce a thin edge, even if it's not that sharp. They try to get the edge thin. So you don't see any bulkiness near the edge in most cases. So that may be all it takes. Just a powerful bow and thin edge. Maybe it doesn't need to be razor sharp. And it doesn't need to have a needle tip. You know, needle tip is more pointy than a tip along a straight edge. Is this always out of focus? I have not been paying attention to the viewfinder too much. There it is. If that's been out of focus, I apologize. I'm trying not to snap this thing. Now on the Cahokias, these edges were always very straight. So that's one thing that I have trouble with, is getting these edges perfectly straight, because normally I don't care too much about straightness. You know, the straightness here and here. Okay. Good enough. Yep, and then I can upload 2 videos today. Imagine that. Alrighty. Yeah, I enjoyed working with the Flint Ridge. For sure. It has nice translucency in many cases, and it's got great colors. And it's easy to notch. Relatively speaking. Yeah. Alrighty. There you go.